The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out, like this. He walked with his toes pointing in, like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick. A stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman. And he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow, and then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. Alright, so we just finished reading Ezra Jack Keats' The Snowy Day. This is a really fun book about a little boy who wakes up and sees that it snowed, has some adventures outside. But for our art project today, I thought it would be fun to take one of the techniques that the author uses, an illustrator. It's kind of a mix of collage with drawing, so it's mixed media. And I really like this page as a good example because the author, the illustrator, liked using printed paper. He thought that was fun to incorporate that into his illustrations. So for supplies, I have just some craft paper, but you could use whatever you have handy. If you have Christmas paper, if you have things from magazines or catalogs, that'll work. I also have a little piece of cardstock that we're going to glue on too, and then a glue stick, a pair of scissors, and I'm using a Sharpie just so it shows up. You probably don't need to use a Sharpie. You probably can use whatever you have to mark with, a pencil or markers or crayons. Alright, so I love his pajamas. I think that's a really fun pattern, and I love the wallpaper behind him. But I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do two figures. I'm going to make a mom and a kid, and I think I'm going to use the black and white is going to be the mom's outfit. Now if you wanted to, you could just take your scissors and cut it. I am probably going to turn it over because see how the back is white? And I'm going to actually draw, I'm just doing her dress. So I'm going to draw like the outline of a mom's dress. Alright. I'm doing that on this side because it shows up better on the white. When I flip it over, we'll see that pattern. It looks like material, it looks like fabric. Remember, when you're using your scissors, if you need a reminder, you use your thumb and your pointer finger, and you just are taking little squeezes. You don't have to completely open and close it all the way to cut. You're just using little bits. Just take your time. We're just practicing. And also remember with collage, if you make a little mistake and cut something you don't like, you can fix it because you're going to glue it later. Okay, that looks more like a top than a dress. So I think I'm going to make some pants to go with that. So you see I'm doing the clothes first, then I'm going to glue these down, and then I'm going to do a body to go with it. I'm just having fun using the printed paper as part of the design. Okay, let's see. Okay, I like that. All right, so now the mom and the kid. Maybe you guys could do this at home, or you could do mom or grandma and a kid. Let's see. And so for the kid, I think I'll do the same thing. I think I'll make a little top. And then I'm going to make some pants. All right, so I've got my clothing all done. And you know, I have a lot of paper, and in fact, I think I don't want my paper to be this big, so I think I'm going to fold my paper and make this a little bit smaller. I don't want it quite that tall. Just fold right along that little line. Or cut along the line that I just did. All right. Yeah, I like this smaller. Okay. This is kind of like making paper dolls, isn't it? But I'm going to glue them onto the background. I'll do the pants first. Okay, and here's a little tip. Let's let this dry a little bit before we start drawing, because sometimes there's a little glue around the edges, so we want to make sure that we're not marking on the glue, because it's not going to like that. So I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. In fact, you might go do something else and then come back. You can see part of this didn't glue all the way down. That doesn't bother me. I kind of like that. It looks kind of lifelike. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and draw Mama's head. I've said before, I think it's fun to draw kind of messy here. All right, and I'm going to draw it before I finish the rest of her body. I'm going to draw the little kid's head. Mom, maybe she has her hand kind of behind her head. I can decide, is the kid barefoot? I think these are pajamas. I think she's barefoot, so I'm gonna draw little toes. I don't need to worry about shoes. Same thing for Mom. Maybe Mom has her toenails painted. Her hand, all right. Make some more here if I wanted. Okay, this is like the basic beginning. You could go on and if you wanted to put some more people in here, you could draw some more clothing. If you want to show where they're standing, you can draw the ground. Maybe they're inside and maybe there's a window behind. And I want to maybe draw what's outside. Maybe there's a field behind them. Maybe there's a big tree. Anyway, you can keep going and add more details. Have fun with it. And remember, when you're all done, artist usually signs their name on the bottom right-hand side.